Alright, guys, so I actually have more to say about GTA 6, and this time it's not going to be really me going after the fanboys as much because I already did that in my last video, and yeah, that was actually a lot of fun just showing how stupid and low IQ they are because, boy, they got some really dumb arguments. They're very emotional. They'll say things like, oh, why do you even care? Why do you even care? It's like, dude, why do you even care about my video? Okay? But anyways, besides that, I've been having a lot of suspicion in the last 24 hours, maybe longer, that there is a reason they have not wanted to show any gameplay footage of Grand Theft Auto 6. And I'm starting to think, first of all, at first my suspicion was perhaps it's going to be a very, very poor quality game in a sense that it's going to have a lot of dips in frame rate. And I've even seen some articles recently claiming that it's only going to run at 30 frames per second on consoles, and that may very well be true. And I'm also was thinking it's probably going to be another Cyberpunk 2077 situation where it's going to be an extremely buggy, glitchy, and hard to play game. It's going to just be insufferable. It's going to have lots of bugs. It's going to have very bad frame rate dips and everything like that. But then I started doing some thinking. I started thinking a little bit more about it. What if the reason they are not showing gameplay of Grand Theft Auto 6 is because Grand Theft Auto 6 isn't even going to be a game? What if it ends up being another modern day walking simulator that heavily leans on cutscenes, and all you really get to do is walk from each scene to the next scene? That's a lot of video games these days. I mean, we just saw that stupid Xbox exclusive mixtape, which, by the way, just shows how stupid Xbox is, that is their only exclusive now, is a crap game like that. But these have been like the games for the last 10 years. Not every single game has been that way, but that's pretty much most of PlayStation's video games. PlayStation and their first party crap is just a bunch of walking simulators and cinematic experiences where it's really just, it's like watching a movie and you get to interact with it just a little bit. What if Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to be that type of game? It's not going to be like Grand Theft Auto 5. It's not going to be your traditional Grand Theft Auto game where it's actually a third-person, free-roam game. Instead, it's probably going to be an over-the-shoulder, third-person game where most of the time you're just walking or jogging to the next scene. And occasionally you're in a back alley and you might engage in some type of shootout for like 2 minutes maybe before you get taken into the next scene. I think there's a very strong possibility that that's what GTA 6 is going to be. Because why else are they not showing us gameplay? How is it that they've already offered pre-orders without having shown 1 second of gameplay yet? Everything we have seen has just been cutscenes. That's it. Cinematic cutscenes. Nothing else. And a bunch of, still images of the characters and stuff like that. But we have not seen any gameplay of this game. And at first I thought, well, it's probably because the game's not running that well. It's going to be very buggy. It's going to have low dips in frame rate, which I think that's a possibility too. But now I'm starting to think that maybe this is going to be a cinematic experience. It's going to be another walking simulator. And a lot of people are going to say, no, you don't know what you're talking about. Rockstar wouldn't do that. What makes you think that Rockstar has integrity? What makes you think that Rockstar Games has any integrity and that they're going to make this a really awesome game? You people think that just because the game has taken so freaking long to finally come out, that means it's because they've been working really hard. They've been improving it. Guys, this happened with Retro Studios, where we've been waiting for Metroid Prime 4 for about 6 damn years for it to just be a very generic disappointment of a game. You guys somehow think that Rockstar Studios is any different, or Rockstar Games is any different. Look, they're not the same people anymore. The same people that made some of your favorite GTA games are no longer there. It's a bunch of woke liberal women now that are running the show. They're the ones making this game. What makes you think that this game is actually going to be this really massive big game? So many people assuming that, and it's like, there's no proof of that. There's no proof that this is going to be a really big, massive, open world game. There's none whatsoever. You don't know that. I don't think they've shown any proof of that or indicated that it will be that way. We haven't seen gameplay footage, guys. What if the open world is so limited? Like, it's like, you know, whenever you want to travel somewhere, it's like a fast travel and that's it. You don't actually get to go there, drive there, or anything like that. It's just an extremely limited type of open world game to the point where you can't even really call it an open world game. And here's the thing about the fact that the game has, you know, been in development, quote unquote, for so long or whatever. I think that many people believe that the reason it has taken them this long to finally get the game out, not because they've been developing or working on it and improving it, but it's only been because they've been dragging it just so they could keep making more money on Grand Theft Auto 5 online. GTA 5 online has been making them so much money. They just kept pushing Grand Theft Auto 6 back further and further because they just want to milk the GTA 5 online as much as they could. It's not so much that, yeah, they've just been working really hard on making GTA 6 the best possible game. You really think that they have integrity. Look, this is not the same Rockstar Games. So different people now. And the fact that they are not showing us any gameplay, that should be a huge red flag. Now, of course, they understand their fan base. They know that their fans, their diehards, are stupid, are low IQ. If you don't believe me, watch my last video and look at the comments in that section. You know, look at the other Grand Theft Auto video that I did prior to that, and some of the stupid comments that I received in that video. These people are just stupid. Okay, Grand Theft Auto fans, I think what they are, I think most of them are social rejects. I think they're losers who just love living out their fantasy of being this glorified criminal or whatever. They want to fantasize about being a somebody, and to them being a somebody is being someone who, you know, commits crime and doesn't obey the law and makes money, you know, being a thug and shit like that. You know, I think that's why the game is very popular, because it's just it attracts those kinds of losers. Okay? And I know a lot of people are going to get offended by that, but that's the truth. And, you know, there's other games out there that are far better and far greater to play, but people choose to play that because they just, you know, they want to live out their fantasies of, you know, living that, you know, that criminal lifestyle. But I could see these people and their heads absolutely exploding when they pick this game up, right? Because, you know, they're willing to pre-order it without seeing gameplay. They're willing to pre-order it despite the fact that there's no physical copy. It's just a code in a box. They're willing to pre-order it despite all of these things. And so it's going to be funny if they end up popping this game in, or, well, they end up popping the code in, and they start playing it, and then within an hour of playing it, they realize this is just a damn walking simulator. I've been watching nothing but cutscenes, me walking from point A to point B. It's going to be funny if that actually happens. Now, this is just me kind of being a normie, but I don't know if people could still refund the game after purchasing it like that, or they could only refund their pre-orders. I would hope that people could refund the game. Maybe they can, I don't know. But if I'm not mistaken, Rockstar at this point probably has already made their money once the retailers have purchased their game, so it probably won't even affect them if those games get refunded. I don't know, I could be wrong. But either way, that might get retailers to not trust Rockstar Studios ever again. And right now we have a ton of retailers who are saying, yeah, we're not going to be selling a code in a box. So that's one good thing. But I think, considering the fact that Rockstar is starting to show their true colors, you know, they're starting to reveal who they really are, and they're not this trustworthy studio that everyone seems to automatically think that they are. Because here's the thing. Prior to finding out how much the game was going to cost and all of that stuff, you had so many idiots like John from Spawnwave entertaining this idea that Rockstar was actually going to make GTA 6 a $70 game, and that they were going to, put the entire gaming industry to shame, and it was going to make it to where these other video game developers are going to have to like charge their games only $70 and not $80 and all this stuff. And he was really making it seem like Rockstar Games has this integrity, and that they're for the people, they're for the gamers, right? Well, clearly that's not the case, because they're over here selling you they're selling you an incomplete game, an incomplete version of Grand Theft Auto 6 for $80. $80 freaking dollars for an incomplete game. That should be $60, probably less. You know damn well, oh shoot, this is an incomplete version. This $100 version actually is the complete game. That should just be a huge red flag. Like, why would they do that? That's kind of scummy, right? But people, GTA fans who are really stupid, are trying to defend it and say, it's like buying a burger, French fries, and you don't get the drinks, and you're complaining that it's an incomplete meal. Something stupid like that. You guys watching my last video, okay? They're making these really stupid fast food analogies, and their arguments are just dumb. Really bad faith arguments that they're using. But yeah, people, this should be a huge red flag to you guys. Why would they not show gameplay footage by now? And some people try to argue, well, it's because the game's not completed yet. I'm like, then why are they putting out pre-orders if the game's not even completed? If the game's so far from being completed, they're unable to show us gameplay footage, why would they have pre-orders readily available like this? That should be a red flag, guys. That should be a red flag. Them not showing gameplay should tell you something, okay? And I think it could be one or two things. It could be the fact that it's going to be very buggy, it's going to perform like shit, or it's probably not even going to be a real video game. It's going to be a cinematic walking simulator. And if that's the case, boy, is that going to really, really put a huge dent in the reputation of Rockstar Games. I don't see, even the most die-hard Grand Theft Auto fan would have to just be extremely pissed off with that, because that's not a Grand Theft Auto game. The number one selling point of Grand Theft Auto is the open world, the free roam. That's pretty much the overall selling point, right? So if you take away, that's literally the foundation of the game. So you take that away, and it's just this very limited, very linear game where you don't really have much freedom, and all you're doing is just walking around from point A to point B, going from cutscene to cutscene. I mean, what die-hard GTA fan is actually going to be okay with that and is going to defend that? I mean, it would baffle me if they are still GTA fans defending it, if that ends up being the case. So I think right now gamers need to expect the worst, because so many stupid gamers for the last, 2 freaking years have just been assuming that this is going to be the greatest game ever. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be so successful. It's going to be huge. It's going to be massive. Just blindly putting their trust and faith in Rockstar Games. Well, we now see that Rockstar Games is not to be trusted. With what they're doing right now, selling an incomplete version of the game for $80 just to pretty much entice you to spend the extra $20 for the completed version. But of course, they're calling it the Ultimate Edition, when in reality, it's just a completed game, and that's it. So right now, you guys should assume the worst. You guys should expect the worst. You guys should think, you know what? This very well may be not a video game. This may not be a traditional Grand Theft Auto game. This is probably going to be a damn walking simulator. And that's why they're not showing us gameplay. It's going to be a huge bait and switch. You guys end up getting the game. They sell, 40 to 50 million copies of it. And then you guys realize, oh shit, it was not a video game. And you know what? You deserve to get screwed like that for pre-ordering a damn game not knowing what the gameplay is going to be like. I had some idiot trying to say everyone knows how, Grand Theft Auto plays. It's like, yeah, dipshit, except we don't know how GTA 6 is going to play. You can't just assume that it's going to be exactly like Grand Theft Auto 5 and it's going to be this really big world. You can't assume that. At this point, you can't assume that. The same way you shouldn't have assumed that Rockstar was going to make this a $70 game. And there were so many people online taking polls, and saying that the game was going to be $70. I don't understand people who have this stupid trust in Rockstar Games, like they're these saints, like they're these pro consumers. Like, well, I don't know why you thought that. Just because, their games are quality. So, and that might change. Because again, Rockstar Games is not the same anymore. It's not the same people. It's a completely different cast. It's a completely different team. Different people who probably have different agendas. And I guarantee you, this whole time, they were only prolonging the game's release because they wanted to make as much money off of Grand Theft Auto 5 Online. And what you don't think that, whenever they have these boardroom meetings, they don't, strategize in that way. Like, they don't just sit around thinking, hey, you know what, let's keep prolonging it so we can make as much money off of GTA 5 Online. And that's going to trick people into thinking this is going to be a really big, really massive open world game, even though it's not. Even though it's just a walking simulator. You don't think they don't have these type of, conversations in meetings? I guarantee you they do. I guarantee you they do. Now, a lot of people suspect that the game's probably going to be extremely woke. That would piss me off because right now I am intrigued with the fact that you are playing as this white, all-American Chad with a big booty Latina girlfriend. I kind of like that. I think there should be more of that. So it would piss me off if they put some woke bullshit in the game and they kind of screw all of that up. I kind of, I'm digging the Bonnie and Clyde storyline here. And I like that, racial dynamic of the white guy with the Latina girlfriend. But I would have to see reviews first of the game. But right now, my biggest suspicion is the fact that it's not going to be an actual video game in the first place. It's just going to be a cinematic experience like all of these other stupid games that people are getting sick and tired of. But it seems like they really seem to be making these type of games. And maybe that's because they're easier to develop than, an actual big open world game where you're allowed to free roam. I'm not entirely sure. I'm not a game developer, so I don't know which one's easier to make, but I would assume it'd be the one that is extremely limited and it's just you walking from point A to point B. In fact, it has to be because, if that's all it is, then you don't really have to make and develop the actual world itself. Only pieces and parts of it that you get to interact with, and that's it. And if by any chance that there is an open world to it and you can go around, it'll probably be extremely limited and boring, similar to LA Noire, which is probably the worst open world game I have ever played. Super boring. It's basically, you don't get to interact with that open world at all. It's like, here's an open world, you don't get to really interact with it. All you get to do is drive from point A to point B and get to the next mission, and that's it. But once you're done with that mission, you don't really get to do whatever the hell you want. You don't get to interact with the world at all. It's one of those games that I played. I think I put 1 hour into it. I played it on my Switch. I think somebody got it for me. I can't remember, but boy, was that a game just not worth playing at all. Like I got sick and bored of it and started playing Breath of the Wild more because that's a game where you can interact with the entire world. But anyways, that's going to be my big, bold prediction here, guys. I'm going to predict that Grand Theft Auto 6 will be a third-person, over-the-shoulder walking simulator. It's going to be a cinematic experience. It's going to have very little gameplay. It's probably not going to have any free roam in it. And it's just going to be you walking from point A to point B, occasionally shooting, occasionally doing some drive-bys maybe, but you're not actually driving, you're just the guy shooting maybe. It's probably going to be something like that. It's going to, and they're going to trick you into thinking that you're playing an open world game, but you're really not. That's going to be my prediction. I think that's what's going on here. I think that's why they have not shown any gameplay footage, because they know that that's going to turn a lot of people off and people are going to refund the game. It'd be funny if there's some hackers out there or somebody within Rockstar who ends up exposing that, ends up showing everybody, hey, look, this is going to be a walking simulator. This is not going to be a traditional open world Grand Theft Auto game. It would be so funny if that happens and we just see massive refunds. But that's to be seen. But, I could be wrong. And maybe it will be a really big open world game. And maybe the reason they're not showing gameplay is because it's going to be buggy as shit. It's going to have very, very bad dips in frame rate. And it's going to play like ass. It's going to be another Cyberpunk 2077 situation where the game is just completely unplayable. And that's also going to be shitty of them. And, that's going to piss people off too. But my prediction is that it's just going to be a walking simulator. So I want to hear what you guys have to say about this. Why is it that they have not shown any gameplay footage? If you're one of these clowns who is defending Rockstar and you're defending the GTA 6 situation, explain why you think they have not shown 1 second of gameplay of this game. Like, I want to hear from you guys. Why hadn't they shown any gameplay yet? And if you're like me and you have your suspicions about this game, what do you think it is? What do you think they're hiding from us? Do you think they're just hiding woke garbage? I mean, that could be the case. I'm sure there's going to be some woke shit, maybe. I hope not, but do you think it's just going to be a walking simulator, cinematic experience? Do you think it's just going to be a game that has really, really bad performance issues and just dips a lot in the frame rate? I want to hear from you guys. You guys let me know what you all think, but this is something people should start suspecting. And I think more people should make videos talking about this. I think people should definitely suspect the worst at this point. So anyways, that's going to be it for this video, guys. You all take care, and I will talk to you all as soon as possible. See ya.